Hello. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you're as excited as I am for today's conversation. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, what are you waiting for? Do so right now and turn on the notification button. In case you're coming across this channel for the first time, I am a wife and my mom, and I am more. And so far, I have been sharing my experience of becoming a mom in a foreign land. So let's delve into today's conversation. Bathing or caring for your baby. The African way or the EU way. When I thought about this topic, I'm like, wow, I hope that my mothers, because I have a lot of mothers, don't come across this video and they won't start calling me. But if they do, there's no problem. So bathing for my little one, the African way or the EU way. Let me make this point clear before I move further. The fact that something has been done for centuries or for decades does not make it right. And I am not here to downplay the effort of our foremothers, if there's anything like that, and the women ahead of us who have bathed children or babies in specific ways. In fact, from what I have heard and read, their methods of bathing these babies, according to them, makes the child stronger and healthier. And every mother wants a healthy baby, don't we? Yes, we want a healthy baby. So what is the African way of bathing a child? I am a Ghanaian, so I'm going to concentrate the Ghanaian way of bathing a child. I also grew up in Nigeria, so I've seen the ways where our mothers back in Nigeria bathe their children, and it is very similar. The way the Africans bathe their children is very similar. I remember when my baby was born afresh. If you watch my previous video where we had postpartum care, someone to support me in the house for the first 8 days, I remember the woman, the first question she asked me when we bathed the baby was, do you want her bathed the African way or not? And then I told her, just go ahead and bathe her. How do we bathe children in Africa? You know the usual routine. There's a sponge. There are different kind of sponge. They have varied ones for bathing a child. There are specific kind of soaps. In fact, truth is, as a Ghanaian, from where I come from or in my house, let me put it that way, if I were in Ghana, what my mother would have done when the baby arrived home from the hospital was to rub palm oil all over the baby's body and then to bathe the child with soap and sponge. Of course, warm water. Why does she do so? According to her, they believe that would take away every smell whatsoever from the baby's body, and the baby will grow up without having body odor. That is their belief, and it has worked for centuries, because I'm pretty sure that's the way I was bathed, and I assure you I do not have body odor. So based on my experience or based on what was done to me, at least that assertion is true. But here is a situation where I find myself in a foreign land. The culture here is different, and of course I have access to some of the things that are used to bathe a child back home. But what did I do? If you watch my last video, I told you that the best advice I got was to do me, and I have been doing me since then. Truth be told, I had different options, either to bathe the child the African way or the way I was told, or to bathe the child the EU way. I got everything necessary to bathe the child the Ghanaian way, but I ended up bathing the child the EU way. And you might want to ask why. I chose what was convenient for me. Bathing the baby the Ghanaian way meant that I would sit on a small stool, the baby bath will be on the floor, and then the baby will be on my lap, and I would gradually, bathe the baby, massage the baby. First, hot water, be mixing the hot and the cold water. In fact, there was a time the baby actually went through that for few times, but subsequently when I started bathing the baby by myself and alone, I chose the easy and convenient way. So I had all the options to bathe the baby that way, and One of my mother-in-laws actually bathed the baby that way, and I appreciate her so much. I love her. She's been so amazing. And some of the things involved in bathing the child, the African or the Ghanaian way, is the child's, the head this way, the middle of the child's head, I think it's called the fontanelle. You put warm compress. Usually they say it's warm compress, but it's not actually warm, because the towel is dipped in hot water and it's put on the child's head like that. According to them, the child's head is very soft. That part is very soft, so when they put it gradually, it helps the child, that part of the head to really heal. Personally, I don't believe that. You know why? Because babies are still very young and most parts of their bodies are still developing. One question I asked myself is, if the Europeans have bathed their children without putting hot compress on the fontanelle for years, and their children, they are very healthy. Not all of them are healthy though, but there are a lot of them that are healthy as well. Does that mean those children, something went wrong? Well, I tend to think in that direction a lot. And because somebody is doing something this way doesn't make it the right way to do it. So I am not insinuating that those who have done it that way or those who keep doing it that way are doing it wrong. What I am saying in a nutshell is that I did what was comfortable for me, and I am encouraging mothers, if you are coming across this video, to do what is comfortable and convenient for you. I bought a bath that I'll show you that has a stand, and the baby bath is in it. There is an inner seat where the baby can sit. At the beginning, I did not use the seat because the baby was still very little. So I would put my hand in the bath and put the baby's head on my hand, and then use the other hand to bathe the baby gradually. And in bathing a child, a lot of things are involved, especially if your baby is a girl. There is this part where you mix water. It is believed, now this part almost caused confusion because the baby's navel, it is believed that it is not totally healed, and so in an African way you have to pour warm water. Mind you, this warm water that they say, from my experience, it's not actually warm water. It is hot, but not very hot. They put it in the baby's navel, they pour it gradually. What we do is to get a pan or a container and create a hole in it. So when you put the water in the hole, so it drips gradually onto the baby's navel and the baby's genital area. For a girl, I don't know how it is done for a boy. I think it's something similar. And when you do that, it is believed to heal the wound in the stomach. I still wonder which wound actually is in the baby's stomach that you have to do that to make the child heal. So when I got confused, elderly people in my lives, people who matter to me, telling me, do it this way, we should do it this way. Me and my husband, we had a specific way we wanted our child to be bathed. And these people too telling us, do it this way because this is what we've been doing to you, this is how we did it to you, this is how we've been doing it for centuries and nothing has happened, blah blah blah, that kind of statement. So what I did, after all, nobody was there watching me, I did what was comfortable. I did a research on my own. I went to Google, I read the importance. In fact, I saw a thesis, somebody who wrote about these methods of bathing children, the implications and the thought behind those methods and why they are not very good. And beyond that, I also reached out to a doctor friend and said, hi, I'm having a challenge. This is what I am facing. The people that matter to me want the baby to be bathed and cared for in this way. And this is what I also think. What is your medical advice? I'd already made up my mind. I just wanted a point to back it up, and then we both explored these ways and he gave me his medical advice as to reasons why my standpoint was okay. And so I chose to bathe the baby, in quotes, the EU way, because sincerely, EU also have their culture, their vivid culture, and I'm sure they have certain ways of caring for their child. But I chose to bathe the child, the way that the nursing assistant who came to the house bathed her the first week, it was convenient. You know, the child in the bath, there's a stand just the way I'm standing right now, and then there are spaces where the child's the soap and everything is, and it was at arm reach, so it was convenient and easy for me. Mind you, I was also healing at the moment, and it wasn't convenient for me to sit at that time. Even when I sit, it wasn't comfortable. So sitting on a stool on the floor, bathing the child, you know, scrubbing the child's body, the sponge. Right now, that sponge that I got, the typical sponge that we use, I use it to clean the baby's bath. I use a washcloth to bath the baby, or sometimes, well, in our local parlance we call face towel. I use that to bath the baby because the baby's skin is still very delicate, and contrary to popular opinion, the baby is not dirty. They don't go out to play football, and from where they are coming from, from the womb, they are not dirty like that. We don't really need to scrub them, you know, but do what's comfortable for you and do what's convenient for you. But in doing what's comfortable for you, make sure that it is safe and healthy for the child. The fact that a method has been done consistently does not make it safe and healthy. So you want to be very careful, and you also have to consider the situation or your circumstances or your terrain that would, you know, help you decide which method or which way to bathe and care for your child. Now, to the issue of how many times you should bathe a baby. Medically, it is said that a baby should be bathed at least 3 times a week. Well, they believe that that's enough time to keep the baby because their skin is still delicate, their skin is dry, you know, all those medical terms and explanation. They are medical professionals, they might be right, but I was trained in a way that you bathe twice a day, and that's what I've been doing with my baby, and she's cool and happy with it. Some babies don't like water, so you have to be smart and know what your baby likes and what your baby doesn't like. So at the beginning, I bathe her in the morning, and in the evening I'll just use a cloth in the warm water to just clean her body. But now, because summer is supposed to be over but it's still very hot here, we bathe morning and evening. She loves being in the water. In fact, bath time is always a beautiful and loving time for us, and that is what we have been doing so far. And the issue also of whether or not to wear beads for your baby on their ankles, their legs, you know, their bum bum, it's a personal decision. For Ghanaians, we like beads a lot. When my baby was born, we put beads all over her hand, you know, and the essence of putting it for the child, this culture, I happen to love it because I love beads, is it helps you to monitor the child's growth. So because at the point when the bead is on a hand, at the point it will become tight, so it shows you that your baby is putting on weight, then you can cut it and then put another one. So for that reason alone, I love the beads on the child's body. Do what's comfortable for you, do what's convenient for you, and make sure whatever decision or however you decide to bathe for your child, like I said, is healthy and safe. If there's something I didn't mention or something you'd love to know, kindly drop them in the comment section. I'd love to read from you. I'd love to hear from you. Do not forget to share this video, subscribe till I come your way again next week. Do have a beautiful day and a beautiful week.